Heyo and welcome to another episode of Build and Battle Season 2, our Manor Lords Let's Play, where we will build a beautiful medieval city while battling off bandits, brigands, and no-good doers. In the last episode, we left off with a bandit attack, so I really don't want to dawdle. Our army is marching in as we speak, so let's jump right on into this battle. All right, last week, right before we wrapped up, we had these 4 units of brigands come at us, and at first I thought it was 3. Turned out it was 4, so we hired some light mercenaries to try to bait them for a little while and kill off as many as possible. Now, what I am going to do is I am going to try and bait. So let's put them in a run position and let's see if we can keep them from engaging, but pull them closer to our army. Okay, so we will pull. That seemed to work pretty well. I'm actually pretty impressed by that because if there's one thing that gets me about this game is that I don't know where they plan the battle when there's brigands afoot. So it's hard to tell where they're going, and sometimes it's hard to react to where they will end up, especially when you have to, march your entire army across the map. So I kind of liked that little strategy of getting some nearby mercenaries to bait them and draw their aggro. Now what I'm going to do is kind of finish that. So now that we have them, I'm going to put our mercenaries there. I'm going to put our footmen right behind them, our spearmen in front of our footmen, our archers nice and happy up here, and we will just hold our retinue to the side. And let's see how this pulls together. I'm going to stop running them for a little while. All right, so they're crossing into the borders, coming a little bit closer up on our people. According to the soil, we are dealing with a drought. So I'm actually going to bring the mercenaries over here instead so that we don't get routed. Kind of reposition the army there. Let's bring our archers a little bit closer. See if I can bait these guys. Yep, baited. And what the heck? So these guys need to go back here and protect our archers. Archers need to fall back. Okay. So I hit the wrong speed there, but we already broke some of the bandits pretty darn fast there, which is really nice. So let's get our retinue to go help out with that group there. And all they had to do was look at them and they broke. So I guess we'll send them up that way instead. Close in on that last group down at the bottom of the hill. And they are all broken. Phew. I actually got really nervous on that one because I was afraid that when I miscalculated how many armies there, or how many militia the brigands had, I really thought we weren't going to have enough and we were just going to take some massive, massive losses. But we now have 2,000 influence. I could take a land, and I would really love to take this one here that we're currently in, but I still don't think we have enough to take on the Baron. I would want a much more completed army where we have 36 out of 36 people, I think, because he owns half the map. All right, so let's get rid of our mercenaries. We lost all our spearmen there. And let's get everybody on home. Alright, I have let the game run a bit to try and even out the simulation after everything we built last episode, and it is now October. I think our next focus should be on filling in the rest of the army and prepping ourselves to fight back the Baron. So stick around to the end to see how we did. But before we do that, if you happened to miss last week's episode, check it out in the info card above. And if you're excited for some massive population growth and bulking up our army, hit that like button below. Alright, now let's truly jump on into this. So if we come into our army tab, the first blaring issue we have is incomplete militia. We lack both resources and people, so I want to start today's building with growing our population and filling in the vacant soldier spots. Now, to do this, I do not want to risk a famine, since we just spent close to 3 episodes, I think, battling off hunger. So we are going to build 2 large blocks of housing, one in New Anamaruth and one in Cordovia. Each house is going to supply some sort of food, whether it's eggs, vegetables, etc. For New Anamaruth, the food will go straight towards the growing population. In Cordovia, we'll keep just what is needed for that settlement and ship the rest out to New Anamaruth. So let's jump in and get those blocks of houses started. right, we have everything built up for the most part here. I'm sure New and Amaruth is still working a little bit on building all of their burgage plots since they had a little bit more to work with, but everything in Cordovia is done. I did want to just take a quick second and kind of clarify something. The purpose of building the burgage plots in Cordovia isn't to bolster up the army's population and increase the soldiers. It's actually to provide eggs and food to help feed New and Amaruth, which will have a big population boost. And just based on the fertility alone, I don't think that it will be self-sustainable. So Cordovia's main population growth is just so that we have more people collecting and producing food to then export over to New and Amaruth. All right, now let's work on bulking up some of our production lines in New and Amaruth. It seems like we are not producing spears, and this could be due to a few reasons. One, we don't have enough planks, or two, we don't have enough iron slabs. So let's start by increasing our oh my goodness, I just said it, our planks. So let's add another saw pit in here, and let's start getting some more planks coming in. That way, and let's also assign an ox to it. That way, one, there's a designated ox, as I found that really helped last time. And then two, hopefully this makes it work more efficiently. So let's grab a saw pit and give that 2 seconds to come in with some more timber. There we go. All right, let's put this saw pit, I think, right here. Perfect. And let's make that a very high priority because I do want this prioritized over any existing, any more burgage plots. And then let's also look at our iron ore trade. I swear in the last episode we started importing iron ore when we built the bloomery, but according to our trading post, we are not. So let's start importing maybe 10 at a time, just for now. Actually, I'm going to raise it. I'm going to make it 20 at a time. And then let's open up an established trade route for that. That should hopefully help out a bit as well. I also figured we might as well export the ore we have here in Cordovia. So let's build a mining pit, and then we'll also come on into the trading post and just set it up to export between the two territories only. Once this pit has been exhausted, we'll reassign the family to something else. There we go. I also want to come in and upgrade one of our level 2 burgage plots to be a tailor, as I want to start bringing in more taxes, and one way we can do that is by leveling up the burgage plots to level 3 and level 2. To get them to level 3, if I click on this one here, we need, yes, more food stall supplies, but also more clothing. So I want to upgrade this one right here to be a tailor so that it enables the productions of clothes, cloths, and gambesons. That way we start getting some more clothing in this area. Now, to help supply the tailor, let's finally start importing those sheep so we can take the wool and produce yarn at our weaver shop. So if we come over to our livestock trading post and we come to trade, let's just start importing sheep. And I want to keep it so that we always have 30 sheep on hand. That way too, once we have a few more families moved in, we can assign a worker to the sheep farm as well as the actual livestock trading post. And they'll take the sheep from this pasture right here and bring it on over to the weaver's shop to start selling that good, as well as importing it over to the tailors to start producing clothing. All right, so there was something I just noticed here on the tailor shop. This is the first time I've had the honor of building a tailor shop, and I figured let's focus on the cloaks, especially since we're going to be using the sheep to produce yarn. And I just realized we need dye as well. So I'm going to come on in here down to our industry, and I'm going to create a dyer's workshop. I'm honestly a little excited about this. I didn't even think about it when honestly I was kind of planning on putting this in. So I think I want to put this right here. I want to keep it nice and close to the tailor shop, and I think right there would be a very, very good location. So this way they will have all the required material that they need to produce some cloaks for our people. Now let's focus on Cordovia for a bit. I want to start pulling some taxes in from here as one, our king's tax continues to go up and I kind of want to stay in ahead of that inflation, and two, building things is fun. So let's start gearing up Cordovia for the next upgrade. But before we do that, let me know down in the comments what development perk you think we should get when we do level up. Right now, we have just orchardry. I don't think I was going to explore anything more from the farming area here, as really we don't have that great of fertility. I mean, we could go for the rye, but everything is pretty yellow and pretty red. So yeah, let me know down in the comments which development perk you think we should get next once we do level up. To gain our second development point, we need to supply our settlers with clothing, a church, and I believe we will eventually actually need a manor house to actually collect the taxes. So let's start with the clothing and let's do 2 constructions. First, I want to construct a tannery to actually produce the clothing. So let's start with that. And that's going to be a nice, simple industry to put in place because we already have the hunting camp. So I think I'm going to just place a nice tannery right on the corner here. Second, I want to construct another hunting camp as we really aren't even putting a dent in this wild animal deposit. We need to be mindful of overhunting, but I think a second camp should be fine. The wild animal deposit appears to have the same mid-month ticks that the berry deposits have, so we'll continue to monitor it and adjust our hunting accordingly, but I don't see why we shouldn't be trying to take a little bit more advantage of this rich deposit and really try to efficiently capitalize on the animals that we have. So I think if we just come on down here and get a second hunting camp in. I think I'm just going to line him right up next to this guy. And then that way, once that's constructed, we will start filling it up with some more people. All right, next, now that we have the clothing beginning to come in for Cordovia, let's take a look at what we need for our church. So we need planks and we need clay. So I think we should probably start with our clay. So let's grab a mining pit and pop that right on over the clay deposit. Nice and simple. And then next we will also need some wood planks. So let's start by getting a saw pit into Cordovia here. And I think I'm going to do something a little bit different. So we're going to put a saw pit in, and I think probably right here is just fine. So we'll get the saw pit going as well. And then I'm going to come into our trading post and export any extra planks that we have over to New Anamoruth. And I want to keep just 25 as we really won't need more than that on hand for Cordovia at any given point in time. And then this way we can also get more planks over to New Anamoruth, because if we don't really need them in Cordovia, there's no point in stockpiling them here. We do need them over in New Anamoruth to produce our weapons, so kind of just makes sense to me. All right, so it has been about 1 year in-game time now. So let's see how we did in bulking up our army. We started today with 2 out of 72 spearmen, 6 out of 24 retinue, 44 out of 72 archers, and 39 out of 72 footmen. So as far as it goes for spearmen, we have 11 and 11. So we have 22 out of 72 spearmen now. So we definitely had an increase there. Our retinue stayed the same, but that actually makes sense because you pay for your retinue out of your treasury. We now have 28 times 2 archers, so 56 out of the 72 archers. And we have 28 footmen and 28 footmen. So we have 56 out of 36 there. So we definitely had some increase there. So I think our new production lines and increased population is definitely putting us in the right direction. Now, I do want to fill in the last of our retinue, and I kind of want to customize them too, because I really have a lot of fun doing that. We have 1,000 gold in our treasury and a 338 tax coming due within another month and a half. So let's not go below the 340, but let's see how much we can add to our retinue here. So we'll start with 1 man of arms and upgrade. And then, of course, customize them because, yes. I love doing that so much. I guess you only have those options. Perfect. Okay. So we'll add another one. And we'll leave it just at the 13 by 24 for now and make them all match because that is what we do. Awesome. Now they're all looking the same. Alrighty, everyone. So our army has been bolstered. So let's talk some strategy. I think if we take a territory, we should take Selbitz as one. It borders our main settlement, which will provide us some faster protection if the Baron tries to march on the territory. Mind you, if we're actually able to win and claim the territory and beat the Baron. I also want this sweet, rich iron deposit so that we can start importing that to New Anamaruth, much in the same method that we're doing with the food here in Cordovia. All right, you know what? Let's do this, because not only does this have a rich iron deposit, it also has some really good fertility. Like Emmer is really, honestly, the best I think I've ever seen in a territory. Flax is okay. Mind you, better than our other two. And barley's pretty good as well. And then rye. It's everywhere. So let's rally our army. And you know what? Just in case, let's hire some mercenaries as well. So let's take a look at what we've got. All right, so we have 188 gold. Our tax was just taken. So yes, we currently don't have enough annual royal tax, but we have a whole year off of 3% of 1,600 here to make it up. So I'm not too worried about that. We can hire some mercenaries out of Goldoff, Cordovia, and New Anamaruth. I don't really like the local thugs, in all honesty. I don't know. They just sound like something I'm going to waste money on. So 50, 45, that's 95. Let's hire them both and see what happens. All right, but this rally and the march to Selbitz will take some time, so tune in next week to see how the Battle of Selbitz turns out. Do you think we'll be able to win against the Baron? Let me know your answer down in the comments below. In the meantime, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. We are a growing channel looking to provide you with some entertainment. We post Manor Lord episodes every Monday. And please tune in also on Thursdays when we build our Build and Beautify City Skylines 2 episodes. Until next time, I hope everyone has a phenomenal week.